Hello, I'm Jake Regan. I'm here today to pitch a music advert for Jonathan H. Moss.
Hello.
I have contacted Jonathan about sort of 3 weeks ago. I originally met Jonathan through filming one of his gigs at the Cellar Bar, and I contacted Jonathan because he's sort of an established musician and I wanted to create a music video advert. I'm here today to pitch my advert to John, and I'll be sort of detailing a variety of locations for this pitch. I chose John as a client because I think he was a suitable client, sort of professional, very sort of willing to help and not being on time, and also willing to sort of go the extra mile to help out. Which is great. So I'll sort of begin the video presentation by pitching my storyboard ideas.
Okay.
I want to create a minute-long music video advert.
Right.
The advert will use 4 of your songs,
Right.
15-second snippets from each song.
Okay.
The 4 sort of songs I've selected is a navigation song, number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 will be La Rosa.
Right.
Number 3 will be It Might Never Rain Again.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And number 4 will be Dandelion, Let the Wind Take You.
Oh, that's right.
Now, I've got specific treatments for these songs. I'd like to do the first shot, which will be on January the 3rd.
Yeah.
2013, which is a Friday, and that's the navigation song.
2014.
2014. And I will be using the footage from 1 minute 30 seconds to 1 minute 45 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is going to be, as you can see on the storyboard here, this is going to be a fixed shot, and the location for this particular shot we're going to do this from is going to be filmed in JM's studio, which is at this exact location here.
Yeah.
And we're going to film a shot of John on this particular sofa, and we're going to do use some candles, and we're going to film a medium shot of Jonathan sort of sitting here presenting the song. The reason why I want to pitch that idea to you, John, is because I think it is a good representation of your music for people who might not have heard your music before, and gives them a warm sense of a performer who, they might not necessarily know much about your music, but they might kind of connect with you instantly through that.
Yeah. Okay. Another idea.
That idea, yes, will have sort of incense candles and low lighting, and obviously in terms of permission to film, we sort of have permission through John for that.
This is mine.
This is yours. Yeah. So that's great. As I said, that will be a 15-second snippet. And in terms of the storyboard, I've sort of clearly laid out sort of John, sort of medium shot on the sofa. The next idea, of course, is that each of the 4 sort of songs are going to be, of course, edited together.
Yeah.
So what we'll end up with is 4 separate sort of 15-second songs, but obviously they'll be spliced.
Yeah.
And then we'll have obviously 4 different sets of image to kind of reflect each particular part or song kind of snippet. The second one I want to go to is La Rosa.
Okay.
Again, I've kind of chosen each song because I feel like they're the songs that I not only most enjoy, but I think everybody else is most enjoy.
Yeah, sure.
So I've gone with La Rosa. And as you can see the storyboard here, the idea I've gone for is you in the kind of the trees and forest as a wide angle shot, and you will be out of focus in the shot because at this point you haven't really found what you're looking for.
I see.
And then it will become clearer within the next shot, which is a sort of a medium close-up, that you will come in focus, and you will be in the clearing, and the closure will have happened, and you will be, and the audience will be aware that you've found what you were long to find. And again, it kind of fits through the imagery of a kind of thematically. I feel like the Navigation song kind of ties in rather than Rosa. That's kind of why it's 1 and then 2 like that. The next song and the next kind of snippet we go for, as you can see here with the next storyboard, is this will be a medium shot, and we're going to do this in Granary Wharf. It Might Never Rain Again. This is a song which is about the idea of a lover who's sort of happy that he's kind of found his love and that the kind of things are very good for him at that point. But I've chosen to go with the location of the Granary Wharf because it seemed like an interesting location. You know, you could create some nice imagery, some nice atmospherics there. And then we've gone for shot number 6, which is a wide shot. That's going to be John looking over the canal, possibly a dusk filming session. That's going to be scheduled, or it's already scheduled for January the 3rd, 2014. Then finally the sort of 4th quarter, if you like, of the actual sort of music video advert will be a wide shot or / a tracking shot, because there'll be some tracking involved, and that's going to be John running through the hilltops, through the Brecon or through some of the possible sort of marsh areas. And that is going to be 3 minutes 10 of the song until 3 minutes 25 seconds, and that is for Dandelion, Let the Wind Take You. And the idea of that is because you're a metaphor for the dandelion. You're sort of running through this kind of vast open landscape, and then I wanted to end the video presentation with the idea of basically you're going to be standing with on the rock with a nice sort of panoramic viewpoint. You're going to have your back to the film, out of focus, and then we're going to do a 180-degree turn. And by the time you turn, you're going to be facing the sort of panoramic area, and I'm going to sort of then go into focus of all the panoramic 180-degree view. And the idea of that, I think, is where it ties in with the song very well. And it also kind of is a beautiful spot and location,
nice way to end
and it reflects it. So all in all, I've chosen a number of locations, and the reason for that is because location 1 being here, because it is a very kind of, it can be an atmospheric room, and with this green sofa, there's a good vibe. I mean, logistically, the problems that we could have experienced of trying to bring this to other locations is not really sort of logistically possible. So that's why I've chosen to do it here. Again, the location and date for that is January the 3rd, 2014. We then want to do, we're going to do some shooting for La Rosa, which is the second song. We're doing that on Sunday the 1st of December 2013. And then we've got, again, the location for that is going to be, we're doing that in Otley Shevin. We have permission to film there. I've contacted Leeds City Council, and I have given them a risk assessment form which has been signed by myself, and that has been verified, so they've given me permission to film there. It's just in terms of risk assessment forms, I will have risk assessment forms on the day, which I will of course run it by John that they're all okay, and obviously I'll make sure that they're rigorously checked. And of course, in terms of filming here, I have presented you with a consent form, which Jonathan has signed, and I have also presented him with a consent form about his permission to be filmed.
Yeah.
You don't mind being filmed
No.
for purposes.
No.
And I've also done a risk assessment of this studio
Yeah.
/ sort of space,
Yeah.
and I've come up with sort of various different things. Before I sort of go on to the risk assessments,
Yeah.
I just want to sort of finally talk about the other location, which is the Granary Wharf.
Yeah.
We've got permission to film there because I've contacted Granary Wharf,
Yeah.
and
That's fine. Again,
yes.
they're Leeds City Council. So.
Leeds City Council. Again, that's a January 3rd, 2014 shoot, which you're okay for that date.
Yeah, I am.
I'm okay for that date. And then of course, the final sort of section 4 is another shoot for Sunday the 1st of December 2013.
Yeah.
And that's the Dandelion. And again, we have permission to shoot, as that's part of the Otley Chevin. We've got permission, and we've got emails to sort of verify and prove that, as well as the Granary Wharf. So thanks very much for sort of listening to the pitch
great
element.
I'm really excited about that.
Oh, great to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, the next sort of brief section is, of course, the risk assessment. And with the risk assessment, of course, I'd had to do a risk assessment for the location which we were using for Sunday the 1st of December.
Yeah.
That is the Otley Chevin risk assessment. And just briefly, I've noted some of the possible risks of us shooting there, such as fatigue and long hours, first aid and medical requirements, recording on location, the proximity to water, and also the possibility that there could be any large crowds there, and there could be sort of public safety issues. Are you okay with filming on this location?
Yeah,
Have you got any sort of
nice.
issues?
No,
You haven't got any questions about filming there?
No, I
Any
think
sort of
it'll be an
queries?
exciting place to film. But,
I'm glad you think that. And as I said, once again, we do have permission. This is the particular sort of risk assessment form which I scanned and sent to the Leeds City Council with their sort of permission to verify that. So that gives us the all clear to actually sort of film on location. It gives us permission to actually edit the footage and sort of transmit the footage and show that in any way. We wouldn't, we're not going to sort of defame them or harm their imagery. We want to stay within legal boundaries. Obviously, the other location was, of course, here. This risk assessment. You were happy for me to do a risk assessment.
I was.
And the sort of risks we came up with was there's fire prevention. There isn't, unfortunately, any sort of fire exits here, but there are several clearly labelled exits in case of a fire. Me and Jonathan were both responsible for today's pitching session. None of sort of smoking on set. There was no fire explosives, sort of gas emulsions or anything like that.
There's no one else here.
There's no one else here. The other sort of major part of this risk assessment form is the first aid and the medical requirements. Now, there aren't any sort of first aid kits here in case of sort of any sort of major things like heart attacks. But both Jonathan and myself have our phones fully charged, whereby we can contact the emergency services.
And we're in the city centre.
And we're in the city centre, to any close sort of hospitals. So we've also taken very good care of ourselves. We're not in any sort of major kind of bad.
Excuse me, sorry.
We're not in any sort of major state. Physically, we're in good sort of condition. We haven't got sort of any heart conditions or allergies, so that's been okay. And in terms of sort of safety to actually film here, I've rigorously checked that. There's no sort of heavy things on location. There's no dangerous buildings and structure. There's no possibility of any sort of infection, any asbestos. The building has been sort of recently checked by sort of security agencies. So this is a secure location to film in. And that leads me on to my sort of next point. Do you sort of have anything within the pitch that I've given to you that you feel like you're not sure of? You feel like, in terms of the treatment. I've given you sort of the specific times of each song that I want.
Yeah,
and
no, I think
I've got a clear vision of what each song is, you know, what each song means, and what the image for each song is.
Yeah,
Do
no,
you
I
feel
think
like you're clear of where this is going?
yeah, I think you balance those factors in very nicely, and given each song consideration, and then chosen what you seem to be the most poignant bit of each song, and then sort of married up the sort of filming with that.
Oh, I'm glad to hear.
So it sounds like it should work very well.
You're happy in terms of sort of the Sunday the 1st of December, you're happy for that sort
Indeed.
of session?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yes, I mean, before I go on to the last part, do you have any questions about the pitch, about the treatment? You don't have any sort of questions that you possibly want to ask about anything you like clearing up about the pitch?
No, I think you've explained the 4 scenarios very well.
Yes, I mean, I'd just like to clarify, this video presentation advert, this will be obviously sort of promoting John as an artist, with his sort of music. Are you sort of happy, John, for this particular video to be sort of put on things like iTunes?
Yeah, I'm happy
and to be
to.
sort of publicly
Available,
displayed,
yeah, absolutely.
Because I think the idea of an advert is, of course, a promotional technique for an artist or a band, and that's often sort of the kind of commercial marketing tool. And that's kind of what I want to achieve with this video. I think, you know, it's marketing and promoting you as an artist and your EP as a product. And the kind of final element that I want to sort of briefly chat about in terms of production is I'll be having a voiceover for your EP, whereby I will be basically describing you as an artist. I've got the shooting script here, and the shooting script that I will play over your EP video, the minute-long EP advert video, is I will fade out the beginning song for the navigation song, which is of course song number 1, and I will, my shooting script, as I've noted here, I will begin by saying Jonathan H. Moss is an exciting and established artist within the Leeds music scene, and he has experience of sort of touring and gigging, and he's now releasing his new EP. If you'd like to have a copy of his new EP, like to find out more, visit Jonathan H. Moss at soundcloud.com, or you can also visit or search in iTunes for Jonathan H. Moss, where you can get the new EP. So I just think that's.
I think that.
Is there anything that you would like to change with that in terms of how the product's promoted? Do you feel like you have any other sort of avenues where the product can be promoted other than iTunes?
Maybe on YouTube. You could put it up on YouTube.
Through YouTube.
And then perhaps on Facebook, but other than these sort of standard sort of places, really.
And in terms of the narration.
In terms of the narration, no, I like the idea of that.
The idea of sort of Jonathan Moss as an established writer.
I'd wonder if you could maybe put that through the 4 sequences, so it's not all at the beginning. So you'd have song 1, fade out, bit of information. So fade 2, song 2, fade out, a little bit more information, and then at the end have where you can get the stuff from. So it sort of travels with the 4 songs.
Kind of 4 songs. Yeah, that's something that we can
some sort of
do.
pacing.
I mean, in terms of my treatment, I've kind of collated. Are you happy with the way that's worded? You know, Jonathan Moss, an established, an artistic performer. And presumably, this EP will be sort of available on iTunes. You're happy for that?
Yeah.
Brilliant, that's fantastic.
Very good.